Welcome back to Athletic Every Day, day number 62. And throughout this workout, I was actually listening to a couple of funk songs. I'm a bit of a unironic funk fan. It's very strange. It's weird how when you listen, when you see a meme here and there, then you're like, oh shit, what's the song in that? That's actually really good. I kind of listen to funk unironically now, and the workout gets me hyped up. But there's this one song that is very, very heavily associated with. All of the songs are kind of associated with a film or a meme or something. But this one, Prince of Darkness, is associated with a certain scene in Rocky. I think it's Rocky 3, where he's training with Apollo Creed. And Rocky's he's basically coming off of having no motivation to fight anymore because he's been, unimaginably successful and he's reached the highest heights and, he's made his millions. And I think he's coming back to fight, I think it's Clubber Lang, I'm not 100% certain. But he's lacking motivation and they're sort of just about to go into the training montage. And Rocky's, he's getting completely blasted by the training. He's got absolutely no motivation to train anymore, got no drive, no will. And then there's this scene where he says, Apollo Creed says to him, "What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you?" And then Rocky says something like, "Oh, we'll just do it tomorrow. We'll just do it tomorrow." And then Apollo Creed goes, "There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow." And I don't know what it is about that. It just fires me up so much. And I was listening to it. It just made me want to sprint even faster. Don't know about you guys. Whenever you get properly, when your nervous system gets aroused and properly hyped up, you almost get this kind of tingly sensation. Maybe when you hear a song that's really hypes you up, that really activates your immune system, your nervous system, sorry. And I also get it when I'm going for a 1RM attempt on a squat or a deadlift, and you're activating all of those very, very large muscle groups all at once. But the reason I was thinking about this is because there is some truth to that statement. I mean, there is literally no tomorrow. All we have right now is the present moment. The only direct experience you have of life is in the present moment. The future, aka tomorrow, is quite literally just a concept. And so is the past. The only thing that actually is real in our direct experience is the present moment, which is the here and now. And with regards to training, you can sort of look at it in two ways. And the first way is just carpe diem. You got to, smash it today, give it everything you've got. But I would say the other way is to be very careful about that, because the present moment is, yes, it's very precious, it's all we have, but that shouldn't be an excuse to not pace yourself with training. You do have to have some idea and some concept of the future. Otherwise, what are you training for? You have to be having some kind of future thing that you're aiming towards, but then at the same time, it can't be something that in the present moment you don't enjoy. It has to be something that you're passionate about. And that is really what it is all about, to be honest, when it comes to doing anything in life. It's more about being in the process of doing something, enjoying the process, and then obviously, you are doing it for a result in some respects, but for the most part, if you don't enjoy what you're doing in the present moment, then it seems like you're always just putting something off to get something in the future. You're always aiming for that that carrot that's out in front of you. If that carrot's always hanging out in front of you, I can tell you right now that reward is never ever going to be worthwhile. The biggest reward you can get is enjoying what you're doing in the present moment. And that is what I was doing very thoroughly today with this training. Getting back on topic with the training, so the sprints today were 2x20, 2x40, and then 4x60, which you can tell by the tone of my voice, they were absolutely brutal. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm not really familiar with sprinting more than sort of 20 or 30 meters. My main focus in the past was just to focus on building acceleration, because for me, that was the part of the sprint where it would be most applicable to my type of jumping. I'm more of a power jumper than a speed jumper. And if you guys aren't aware of how sort of ground contact times work with sprinting, when you're coming from a dead stop and you're accelerating, your ground contact times are going to be longer and the impulse is going to be longer. So you're going to basically be hitting the ground with your foot, and you're going to be basically having more time to put force into the ground. And you're going to have much deeper ranges of motion in your hip, knee, and ankle joints. So essentially, that is more applicable to vertical jumping for me, because when I jump, I'm always getting into a deeper range of motion with my knee and my hip than, for example, a speed jumper would. I'm not a particularly elastic athlete just by nature. That's just my genetics. It's how I'm structured, how I'm built. Maybe that's just, Whether that would change from this program, that's kind of my intention of changing that with this program. But it was my thinking in the past to focus on acceleration sprints, maybe just 0 to 20 meters. Maybe within 0 to 20 meters would be the ideal range to work on acceleration or hill sprints. But these 60-meter sprints, I can see the benefit in them. I'm not going to lie. I can see the benefit of sprinting at top-end speed and then trying to maintain that top-end speed for slightly more time than you'd be comfortable with, because sprints are probably the most potent stimulus you can have, the most potent plyometric stimulus you can possibly have out of any plyometric exercise, because it's almost impossible to replicate the speed and the maximal intent that you do get with a flat ground sprint. And because you're going faster, by necessity, you have to hit the ground faster with your foot. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to maintain the same momentum as you go forward. So if you're ever trying to increase your athleticism with regards to pretty much any sport, I think it can be pretty much a blanket statement for all sports, as long as it's ground-based, of course. Even though maybe some sports like swimming, where it's not on the ground, it might have some benefit. But for the most part, if your sport is terrestrial-based, based on the ground, I think that some form of sprinting, some kind of maximal intent, maximal effort sprinting is really going to help you perform better in that sport. And that's why a lot of sports do train sprints, high intensity. All right, that's it from me today, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.